wait. Charlie, wait. Charlie, wait. So you challenge Charlotte to a match?
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Talkamania!
It's Rusev Day. I'm not finished with you! That, my friend, is gonna leave a mark.
I love black eyes.
Where are you, Dango?
All before you were wearing a training bra.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Talkamania. I'm your co-host, Desmino, with your other co-host here, J-Bomb.
Hey man, how's it going?
Hey, I made sure to say my co-host because J-Bomb was a little bit sore. I would come in and say, I'm your host.
So cute. I love how you shared that with all our listeners.
There's a little bit of insider information for you folks.
Yeah, I'm blushing. Like the heat got turned up in the room when you said that.
That's funny. But again, folks, we're a family. Jay and I bring it to you. If it wasn't for Jay, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for Jay, well, Talkamania wouldn't exist. So welcome guys. Here we are for another week. We got Extreme Rules coming up, so that's pretty exciting. J-Bomb and I will be together this Sunday going over Extreme Rules. We'll be periscoping, we'll be doing live results at the same time, and we'll be enjoying it, just like you guys are going to be enjoying it. And before we get into things, because we had a crazy wild week with Raw and SmackDown, make sure to follow us on Twitter @_Talkamania, wherever you get your podcast fix, be it Podbean, be it iTunes, Spotify now, folks. Check it out. And also, we got some awesome merch on ProWrestlingTees.com/Talkamania. We got your summer tee. It's blue. It's pretty. It has our retro logo. Check it out. And if you buy one, we'll plug your shit for 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks this week. You buy something, it's 4 weeks. Why not?
I love it. 4 weeks. Let's just, however long we decide to go for, minimum of 4 if we like you.
There you go, folks. There you go. We hope you enjoy our merch, and we hope you enjoyed Raw and SmackDown this week.
Did you?
I didn't enjoy Raw at all. I thought it was definitely one of my least favorite in quite some time. I think it got some really low ratings, one of, if not, the lowest in quite some time. I did love the main event. Anything with Rollins. I mean, I love any segment he's in. The crowd's into him. He brings the entertainment. He wrestles, but also Ziggler. I think Ziggler's been really good as well too lately, and McIntyre. So that was a big segment for Raw for me that stood out. I love the main event. It was good. I love to see that Drew McIntyre picked up the win as well against Seth Rollins. There was a small asterisk there because Ziggler kind of got in the mix, but I get it. They're trying to keep Rollins a little bit safe, but they also wanted to give Drew McIntyre the rub. I was afraid he was going to lose.
The rub.
So I'm kind of happy about that, folks. So, yeah, all in all, I liked the main event, and I'm actually really excited for their match at Extreme Rules. Iron Man match.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Go-home shows are usually pretty disappointing, and Raw, stuck with tradition, and it was pretty disappointing.
It's when you think also the going home show should be the most exciting show of the month.
Excuse me. Yeah, it used to be. It is no longer. It's usually like the Raw right after the pay-per-view is the best one now.
Well, especially WrestleMania. That seems to be like the best Raw of the year, or the most, I guess the Raw with the most stuff that's happening. This Raw just seemed like, just like they were buying time or a little bit of fluff going into Extreme Rules, building some of the feuds, and we're getting again Mojo Rawley versus No Way Jose again.
Wait, that was just on Raw. They're not doing that at the pay-per-view.
No, I'm just saying that we're seeing this week after week, and it's like we had the go home show. We shouldn't be seeing this.
Well, here's the thing: was there anything on Raw this week that happened that has elevated Extreme Rules for you?
Well, I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't end up having a Sasha Bayley match, I have to say. I think they really missed the boat with that because the fans were eating that up with a spoon. When Bayley attacked Sasha like that, the pop the crowd had, how much they were into it, how vicious Bayley was, they really had an opportunity at something amazing, especially going into Extreme Rules. Then Typical WWE fashion. They killed their momentum. They put them in this therapy session. And you even saw it this week on Raw. WWE isn't even really invested in this that much. They didn't even have the audio. They were talking over them during their segments. And you'd even see Dr. Shelby. It just seems like they're like kind of just writing it off or not taking it as serious. And it's kind of interesting because right now we have Team Hell No who's back. So they really should be highlighting this therapy session and kind of not tying them together, but, you know, they kind of, you see them on the wall, right?
Yeah, there is a poster. I was just about to say.
Exactly. So I don't know. I just kind of feel like they're like, oh, let's take a step backwards. This didn't work. But again, obviously it looks like they're going to have a matchup at SummerSlam. I'm sure it'll be an amazing matchup. But Extreme Rules could have been great. You know, it's just weird that these women, we talked about that a week or so ago where I think Sasha threw Bayley into a garbage can and then Bayley walks up, hey, I want to talk to you. And it's like, she just threw into a garbage can. And then she just destroyed Sasha and Sasha's just like, nothing. They don't, what? I'm just confused. And they really just missed an opportunity with this, I felt.
Okay, right on. For me, I don't know if you feel the same way. Roman and Lashley, as much as everybody hates to see Roman Reigns kick off Raw, he came out and I was a little bit like, all right, here we go, tired beginnings. But I don't know, I became invested in the match, man, after that brawl.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
For me. Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point. They're trying to get people invested in it. And I'm not for this whole like separation thing. I think Brock's done these separation things a bunch lately, and people run out and they put everybody to come out who doesn't have a show on the card so they can be there and part of it. It seems like they're trying to up that now and not just have all the jobbers come out. So you saw Balor, you saw, I think Bobby Roode was out there as well too. And people who were feuding with each other were coming out there. A lot was going on. It wasn't just Roman Reigns and Lashley. There was a lot going on there. We saw Kanellis. I don't know. It was good to see him. I'm sure he was happy to get out there. But to me, like, you could take a knock at it and be like, hey, they've done this before, right? But I actually enjoyed this one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was done a little bit better. I know Roman, he did his big dive over the rope. He did the Air Jordan dive with his tongue sticking out. That photo's going to be everywhere, folks. It's going to be all kinds of promos forever for the rest of his career. It was badass. It was good. Took everybody out. And everybody was out there too. There's a lot going on. But I thought it was exciting. They had a lot of people there. They kept going at it. And, that was the match that I was kind of like, one of the more least exciting ones for me. Yeah. And it made me a little bit more excited to watch it. So it definitely did its job. And it wasn't too bad of a segment, and it wasn't too bad of a way to open up Raw.
I felt like Finn Balor coming out, even though he was the first guy out, he was like a lot higher than anybody else in the pack when it comes to pecking order. I was surprised to see him thrown into, one of the guys. I'm gonna call him lumberjacks, for lack of a better term. But really, he was just like a lackey, a guy. They usually make guys in the back that don't have much to do come out and fill these roles. And it was just odd to see Finn Balor there.
It was, but I don't know if it tied in with the fact that he's shooting with Baron Corbin, or the fact that they're trying to put more main event guys in these packs of lumberjacks to make it more credible and to not make it just, because there's a stigma, right? If you're out there doing that, you don't have a place on Raw pretty much. And I think they wanted to end that stigma, because you saw the B team, you saw other people on there as well too who were around, who were on the card. So, I kind of believe it's a little bit of them trying to beef up the lumberjacks, so to speak, that are out there. But at the same time, he did play a purpose. He did take a shot on Corbin as well too. I don't know if that was scripted or not, because Corbin kind of looked confused and didn't really go after Balor after that. They didn't even really mention it. But I thought it was funny. And I'm usually on here ranting about how they do the same recipes over and over. I was okay with this one. This one was done all right. And even Roman Reigns' his promo he cut, it wasn't that bad. I was okay with all this. And I'm actually more excited watching this match going into it at Extreme Rules.
So, it's rare, like you mentioned, it's rare that we have Dez this excited and this optimistic and positive going into a pay-per-view.
I'm trying to be positive these days, folks.
So while I have you on that note, man, you mentioned to me before we started recording that you really enjoyed Miz TV as well. Team Hell No was on there. There was a ton of NSYNC tips of the hat to NSYNC. I thought Kane was entertaining. It was weird. I haven't seen that side of Kane because I miss all of Team Hell No. Was he like that the first time around?
Yeah, he was pretty goofy the first time around. I mean, like Kane, the days of Kane being a monster and setting people on fire, long gone. And, he's at the tail end of his career and he's having some fun and, he's running for governor. I think...
He's running for governor?
Yeah, in his district. So, I mean, he's into politics right now. So that's his big thing. And the fact that he can do both at the same time, it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty neat. A lot of people are kind of ripping on him for like, oh, you shouldn't be wrestling and be portraying this as you're doing this. It's, get over it, folks.
Yeah.
But yes, Kane, a lot more comedic now. The NSYNC stuff, super lame, super cheesy, but it worked. I liked it. I thought it was funny. The fact that he gave that, that speech, everyone was kind of joking, and then everyone was kind of like serious, and he gave that speech, and they're like, oh yeah, is that an NSYNC lyric? It fit, and I thought it was rather funny, and I think it was pretty cool. Maybe I'm getting old, but I liked it.
The promos on SmackDown were odd, but it worked.
Yeah, it did, and I did like Miz TV, and it wasn't just for the fact of Team Hell No. I think the Miz was fantastic.
Miz is always fantastic.
He usually is, but he's really confident now, and to the point where you're like, you don't want somebody being that cocky and confident, because it'll get to their head, and sometimes they become a little bit of a dick. But the Miz owns it, on the mic. You don't have many people like him that can kind of cut a promo, a pure heel promo, the way he does. And I just feel like, no matter who you put him with, he can kind of hold his own on the microphone. And the way that they're teasing this build-up between him and Daniel Bryan as well, too, it's excellent. I think it's fantastic. Daniel's trying to keep his cool. The Miz is pushing his buttons. Kane's kind of helping him. But then Miz is being passive-aggressive. The way that Sanity got involved. And then the way that the New Day came out. And I thought it was pretty cool. The Bludgeon Brothers were also there as well. So they had a big mix-up. The only negative thing I would say coming out of this whole segment for me was we saw Sanity taking another pin.
Well, that was at the end. That was at the end, right? So the promo was still good at the beginning,
right? But I mean, you could have easily had Xavier Woods take the pin or something, and it wouldn't have really done that much. So I don't know. I guess they're trying to. I'm not a Sanity fan, folks, but I just don't think it's the best course of action having them lose. Now, I think it's 1 or 2 weeks in a row. So, or not matches in a row.
As long as they don't lose at a pay-per-view, I think they're all right.
It's just very strange, because usually people come on strong and pick up wins. And it's just Sanity. They didn't know what to do with them. They teased their debut week after week, and then they kind of come in as a faction and then took a loss. But I do like the way that Sanity looked backstage with the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah, it was dope.
And who knows, maybe they're going to build a bigger faction. I really look forward to the day where they actually have a faction that goes beyond like 3 people, kind of like old school DX or the Nation Domination, and you didn't know who the next person to join was going to be. And I'm hoping the Undisputed Era is going to be more. Well, they kind of are more like that a little bit, but that's in NXT. I hope they kind of bring a little bit of that onto the main roster. It was nice to see them on there as well, being used. And folks, I will for those of you who haven't been following the message board or the news boards out there, Nikki Cross has been wrestling on SmackDown house shows. So people are speculating that she may be close to her debut on SmackDown on the main roster, and she might find a place with Sanity, hopefully. And then maybe my dream will come a little bit closer to us having a stable that's more than 3 people.
Yeah, stable more than 3 people works, but they still need to be a stable that like recruits new people.
Well, that's it. Right? I always like it. It's like, who's going to be the new member? And then this person pretends to be a new member, and then he's I guess Daniel Bryan was the closest when he joined the Wyatt family, and then he turned on Bray Wyatt. That was the closest I guess we had in a while. But I would like to see that, or at least like maybe have the Broken Hardys recruit the B team. That could be cool.
I'd rather Sanity. I don't know if that's going to work. But speaking of Daniel Bryan, do you think that they've injected him in the tag team division just to elevate the SmackDown tag team division? Because it's been stagnant for a little while. So now you got like a name like Daniel Bryan who's thrown in the mix. They're giving Team Hell No the match at Extreme Rules. New Day's on the pre-card. Sanity's on the pre-card. I got to think that Daniel Bryan is being used right now as that guy to elevate people.
Maybe. I mean, it really depends how you dissect it and what's going on behind the scenes. I feel as if they're rushing Daniel's kind of potential matchups because they don't know if they're going to re-sign him at the end of the year, or I guess towards the end of the fall.
What's the big matchup for Daniel here, though?
Well, I think it's going to be The Miz. The Miz versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, but what's the point of him being in Team Hell No? That's what I'm saying. Like, what's this transitional...
Because if they want to have that, I'm sure in their mind, they're like, well, at some point we want to have Daniel Bryan, reunite with Team Hell No. We want to have him fight against, Samoa Joe. We want to have him fight against Seth Rollins. We want to have him fight against this guy and that guy. And we've been seeing these matches given to us really quickly, and we could be spreading them out. So I feel like they're doing this reuniting rather quickly because they're going to be moving on to him and The Miz at, I guess I would believe, potentially SummerSlam or maybe a little bit later after. Because we obviously saw The Miz called them out on Miz TV. They did some antagonizing this week. I think that's not the last you're going to see of The Miz. He may even be involved in the outcome in Extreme Rules this week on Sunday. I'm not exactly sure, but they're definitely pushing towards it now and starting to kind of move in that direction. So maybe they're trying to get these matches out of Daniel Bryan just in case he doesn't sign, and that way they can have these matchups just, because these are matches people want to see. Let's basically squeeze as much lemon juice we can out of this lemon before it expires.
Vegan, right? Vegan lemon juice.
Vegan lemon. I'm not vegan, folks. I love the meat.
Cien Almas, back on SmackDown. Sin Cara.
It's funny you say back on SmackDown like he was.
Well, how long has it been?
He was excommunicated from SmackDown.
I don't like when they feud, when they put two, Latin guys together.
It's kind of Latin guys. Trying to be super politically correct.
I don't know what the right word is,
super
man.
Politically correct.
My mind was just cogs were turning. I was like, "Ooh, what's not racist today?"
Yeah, well, the whole thing is a bit racist. I mean, not that they're being racist, but it's just like it's so funny that they always do this.
I love the match though.
The match was good. The backwards Hurricane Rana he did, kind of the reverse Hurricane Rana, was really nice.
Yeah.
The fact that Cien Almas was going for his I guess Dirty Deeds version that he has, a double underhook DDT, but then didn't get it, and he ended up winning, through another way, which was pretty cool.
With the double knees, man.
That's it. I like that.
It's like the male camel toe. That's what I think of it.
Oh, okay, folks, sure. And the thing for me is they were teasing this feud with Sin Cara for so long, and they were like, oh, they're gonna fight next week, and they didn't fight. No one knew what was going on.
I think he was hurt.
And then this match came out of nowhere, and I didn't even really know they were going to fight. They just happened all of a sudden, and I just feel like there's lack of build-up. But it is good to see him take on somebody who isn't a jobber, the development talent that they throw at these people. So, cool. Now let's see him move on to something else. But I'm pretty sure he'll probably have another match or two with Sin Cara before he does. Hopefully not, though.
AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Rusev Nakamura. And before we get into that, I'm not enjoying this Jeff Hardy-Nakamura bullshit.
Well, there really hasn't been too much build-up, just because, I think mainly because Nakamura got bit by a dog. I know it's not really funny, but that's pretty much the reality of it, folks.
Is that euthanism? Euthanism?
Nah, he literally got bit by a dog, So, there's a police dog backstage, took a big bite out of his leg. Apparently it was serious. He couldn't wrestle, and they haven't had a proper build-up, I would say. The closest they came this week, well, now he's actually, in ring action again, which is great to see. He kind of comes at his feuding with Hardy is wearing the armbands and his walking backstage.
Yeah, that was lame.
It would have been cool if he wore them during the match, but the fact that he takes them and he throws them away, it's very similar to when he was feuding with AJ Styles and they had the last man standing, and he would throw 1, 2, and he'd carry the numbers on papers and throw them backstage. It was stupid. So to me, it was really lame. If he would have had the armbands on during his match, that could have been cool. It's kind of cool to see superstars in different attires. I used to play the old video games where you change people's attires and add things and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see Nakamura a little bit different. And but the funny thing out of this is we see Jeff Hardy eating the pin, right? So we got AJ Styles taking on Rusev this Sunday. And you would think naturally that they would give Rusev a win over AJ Styles. The classic recipe where the challenger pins the champion going into the pay-per-view. Oh my God, he pinned the champion. What's going to happen? They didn't do it, which I'm actually happy about because I'm always a stickler for them following the same damn recipe. So I'm happy about that. But I'm like, well, what do we really gain out of this? Because Nakamura's fighting Jeff Hardy, AJ's fighting Rusev, and then Rusev beats Jeff Hardy. So it's like,
Rusev loses.
Rusev is definitely not going to be winning this Sunday. It's excellent to see, though, that he's got the chance. He's really got to take advantage of it and show the WWE that they should put some faith in him and maybe put a title on him at some point. He shouldn't look at it as negatively, like, I'm going to go out there and job. He should go out there and be like, I got to put on a damn good match, and maybe they'll think twice about me next time. So we'll see a good match, hopefully. We've seen advertisements of AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe coming up. at SummerSlam, I believe.
Where is Joe?
Joe is in limbo. So that's a funny thing. If they're going to be putting Joe against AJ Styles, it's kind of strange. Okay, well, after Rusev, we're moving on to Samoa Joe, but then they don't even put him on SmackDown. So that was pretty, I guess, confusing for me.
That's what I mentioned last week.
But he was, in fact, on SmackDown, and it was, I think, before the show kicked off. He actually was supposed to have a match between himself and Ty Dillinger. And he attacked Ty Dillinger before the match started, put him in the coquina clutch, and that was that. And who knows? This may get added to the pre-card at Extreme Rules, but that was his utilization in SmackDown. So not even being on the show, and then in a month from now, he'll be the challenger for the WWE title, folks. That's the WWE.
Riot Squad. Liv Morgan's been improving her game. Logan, she's just banging crocodiles still.
Is that what you think? You think Morgan is improving her game? Is that what you think?
Her in ring is decent. She's, I don't know, she's much more believable than the rest.
I will give you that. I do agree. I'm not a fan of Liv Morgan whatsoever. I don't like the runny blue makeup. I don't like the blue tongue. I don't like her having her tongue blue because she likes blue. Maybe the WWE is... I try to look at it in a way that is a bit more positive and like, well, maybe they're trying to appeal to the tweens, you know, the ones that are becoming teenagers, they're in high school. She reminds me of a high school brat, I mean, pretty much, right? So, all right, fair enough. But she does work hard, and her in-ring ability is getting better week after week after week.
She's going to win you over, bro.
Maybe. I mean, I give Nia Jax respect for the hard work that she put in. I know Carmella can be a decent heel in the ring as a champion. It's another story, but you know she's doing her job. And yeah, again, I am a bit hard on people. I'm a bit critical, but if they can win me over and they put in the hard work, I will give them the respect that they deserve. Not that my opinion matters that much, but fair enough. But yeah, for her, she's definitely working harder. You know, she's taking losses, but she's kind of earning her stripes, I would say. She'll pick up a big win sooner or later, and you know, hopefully she'll continue to evolve. But I just hope a better character for her. I just don't like this whole teenager riot thing. They're going around pushing things over backstage, and again, it's more lame with Sarah Logan. And I don't want to knock on her too hard, but I just feel like she's having a hard time keeping up. I mean, Ruby Riot's, you know, she's solid. And Liv Morgan starting to improve, and Sarah Logan just seems to be awkward every time she has a chance to talk. Anytime she has a chance to interact in the ring, if she's on the ring apron, and when she's backstage, she just screams and smacks things. I'm not buying Sarah Logan. So
she's got to be tired, bro. I mean, having sex with alligators is like a lot of work.
Ooh, all right, folks, let's not go there. This is not a podcast about having sex with gators, all right?
We talked about it briefly to start the episode, but we got to get more in depth about this. Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins on Raw was friggin' awesome. It's helping with the build-up with Ziggler and Rollins going into Extreme Rules. Here's the question I have. Drew McIntyre wins. He's going to be at ringside. It's a 30-minute Iron Man match, and I'm super excited for this, by the way. Ziggler and Rollins are going to frickin'... It's match of the night for me. I'm calling it now. Do you think it's too early to think that Drew might cost Ziggler the match?
I think it's too early.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think Drew is going to definitely be involved at least one of the decisive pinfalls. I don't know if the referee is going to have the ability to kick him out, because they made it clear that he was going to be able to be at ringside. But if he's a bad sport about it, the ref might have the ability to say, get out of here. So we'll see what happens. I'm really interested to see what happens in this match. I feel like Seth should be moving on to the Universal title. We saw Brock, obviously, back in the UFC this past week. And the UFC is becoming more of a WWE-based drama fest because they called each other out. Apparently those two guys are really good friends too, so it's kind of funny that they did that.
Well, no, I mean, it's complete bullshit. And like even before the match started, it was announced that Brock was going to fight the winner. So it's not like he was just calling him out. It's honestly...
They're struggling. They're trying to improve their viewership. Anyways, folks, we're not here to talk about the UFC right now, at least. But yeah, I'm hoping Seth is going to be on his way, pushed towards that title. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ziggler retain. It might be involving Drew McIntyre. It might just be by dumb luck. Maybe they're going to be even, and then Drew's going to cost him right at the end. That's also a possibility. I do expect, that would be my guess, to see him, because I think we're going to inevitably see Drew McIntyre and Ziggler implode. I think I even saw a Ziggler interview not too long ago where he's talking about all kinds of different topics, where his name originated from, and working with Drew McIntyre. And one of the things he mentioned is, I know the fans are just waiting for the day where he just clocks me, he socks me good, and he takes me out, and that's kind of what they're trying to build towards. And I think it's inevitable it's going to happen. We saw it with Shawn Michaels and Diesel. It seems like they're trying to emulate this, the size, the stature, the way that he almost acts like Ziggler's bodyguard. You look at the trunks that Ziggler is wearing. They're very similar to the ones that Shawn Michaels were wearing back in the day. And I love it. I know you don't like them recreating this, but at the same time, I love that duo of them. And if you can kind of emulate that and pay homage to it, I'm enjoying it. I like Ziggler. I like Drew McIntyre. So for me, it's been fantastic every time they've been on my screen. Same thing with Seth Rollins. I love it. Everything about it is amazing. And I think you called it. I think this very well may be the match of the night.
Dude, you are so positive, it's freaking me out. I'm not used to this shit. I'm like, how can I put a positive spin on it? And you're doing it for me. But before we go any further, we got a little thing to plug here. Our good friend Rafael Esparza, who purchased a Talkamania merch from ProWrestlingTees.com/Talkamania. He's got a promo for you guys. You can get $60 worth of premium member picks by texting the word wrestling to 29022. Now, this is going to give you a free $60 credit that you can use like real cash to sign up for My Place. And you can take care of all this on DocSports.com. If you're not familiar with Raphael, he's a betting odds guy. He's friggin' awesome. You can follow him on Twitter at VSI.Sports. And if you're into gambling on WWE, or if you're into gambling on pretty much anything, you want to pick how many times Roman Reigns is going to throw a Superman punch in a match, this is your guy. Read his blog, check out his stuff. He'll help you out if you're looking for some hot action.
Get on it.
Yeah. Buy some merch, man. Buy some merch. Get on our show. Roll those promos. We got to talk about the Mae Youg Classic. It's coming in August. There was breaking news of Kaitlyn, who I'm not at all familiar with.
It was funny because I saw that today, and I'm like, Mae Youg Classic, awesome. I'm excited. It's coming back. I loved it. I love women's wrestling. I think it's amazing the leaps and bounds they're taking. We love Sasha Banks. We love Bayley.
No, we don't.
Let me finish my thought
all right.
first. We love Sasha Banks. We love Bayley. They've had amazing matches, monumental matches for the women's division. I'm telling you, the way things are going, in 10 years, they're just going to get better. And no, not 10 years. Within the next 10 years, they're just going to get better. And it sucks until 10 years from now, folks.
Yeah. No. You're like, these girls are all right, but
wait in exactly 10 years. No, but you're going to see over the next decade, and hopefully, continuing in the future, things are just getting better. These women are putting on phenomenal matches. The Mae Youg Classic is going to be exciting. I can't wait to see who's going to be a part of this. There's all kinds of speculation, but Kaitlyn has been announced as the first entrant in the Mae Youg Classic. And yes,
who is Kaitlyn?
I knew you wouldn't know who she was. So she basically was, I guess, a diva at that point. Yes, I can say it. I can get away with it. Oh, I can get away with it. She was.
Yeah.
She was even a former Divas champion. So there you go, folks. But yeah, she used to be a wrestler quite some time ago. And she was decent, but it wasn't, I guess, for me, at least at the point where women were like, when you could declare the women were great wrestlers, it was kind of still in that crossover area where you had some, I'm sorry guys, but some bimbo wrestlers that were just eye candy and a pair of boobies.
Do you want a massage?
Unfortunately, I'm not going to say if I was referring to the Bellas.
Oh, no. I'm not referring to the Bellas with that clip.
I think J-Bomb's kind of sending out some hate that way.
No,
if he wants to start beef with the Bellas, then he can start beef with the Bellas.
No, that was misunderstood. All
right. What's their Twitter handle? I'm going to just let them know right now.
No.
Okay, cool. But yeah, no, it's going to be cool to see who is involved in this match because, I mean, I remember Kairi Sane obviously won the last one, but I mean, how deep are they going to dig? What parts of the world are they going to bring people in from? So super excited to see that news. Super excited to see the fact that Kaitlyn's going to be a part of it too. And also, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation. I know I'm going to do it. Io Shirai.
You're getting married to a Japanese woman.
Yes.
You should learn how to pronounce those names.
I
better.
do, but I and O, it's a bit, I'm sorry. Let's call her Shirai. Dude, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I know you guys listening to me and you're like, I want to punch Desmino for slaughtering this. Look, I'm going to give you some kind of background here. I am a WWE fan, born and raised. But you know what? My eyes have been opened. They've been open to the independent scene. I'm watching more New Japan. I'm watching more Ring of Honor. I'm watching more of women's wrestling around the world. I will learn this woman's name and I will remember it because I've been watching her on the internet. A lot of her highlights. She has been phenomenal, and she's talked as if one of the best women wrestlers in the world right now. And she has signed with the WWE. She's coming to NXT, apparently, but who knows? Maybe she will be in the Mae Youg Classic. But now that I think about it, they're putting a lot of stock or a lot of press behind this girl, and I doubt they'll have 2 Japanese winners back-to-back. That's just my thinking. But if she's in this tournament, that would be cool. And if not, folks, she is on her way to NXT. And if any of you want to tweet us how to properly pronounce her name and make me look like an idiot, well,
ask your wife.
Do it, and I will. Yeah, I will ask her. And I will plug you in the show for schooling me and putting me in my place.
Let's get Haruko to give us a soundbite of her saying that name, and every time you mispronounce it, I can hit that button.
Yes, folks, I'm sorry. Yeah, so yeah, my wife or my fiance is from Japan, and she would slap me for mispronouncing that name. I'm probably even pronouncing it properly, and it's just like I'm making this a big deal, and it's not a big deal.
So they announced, The Rock made mention that his oldest daughter is gearing up to join the WWE. Now, I don't know how old
that's
she is.
news to me. Usually I
That's
hear
news to
everything,
you?
and it's very rare that you give me news that I don't know about.
Oh, yes. Look at that. So I was hoping you would know more because that's all I know. I have no idea how old she is and how soon that would be. I think her name was Simone. Not sure. I might be putting my foot in my mouth here, so let's carry on. Other news around the WWE, Fandango, shoulder surgery?
Yeah, Fandango is out with shoulder surgery, and we saw this week on Raw. Or was it SmackDown? They're on Raw, right? So
Raw.
On Raw, he tried to give his T-shirts to the Riot Squad, and they tore them up. I'm sure they had to make little cuts in the chest so they could rip them open. That way, they
Dude, Logan's strong as hell.
Yeah, but Morgan,
you know what she
is
does
not.
for a living?
Oh.
Come on.
Morgan is not. But anyways, we saw Tyler Breeze is going to be subjected to backstage promos and getting squashed if he's on the show. Poor Fandango. Hopefully they can make something out of it. Make Tyler Breeze maybe tag with somebody else while Fandango's out, and then when he comes back, there could be some kind of jealousy angle or something.
Make him a manager. Let him valet a team and make it about the other guy not being fashionable enough or something. Just give us something to laugh at, please.
That's it. I think that comedy is missing, right? I think the Fashion Files was fantastic.
Yeah, I guess it dropped when it was hot, so I can't really complain because that's usually my style. Speaking of injuries, Goldust is also out. Double knees, man.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he was in bed. He basically had his knees. He was with Fandango in the pictures that I saw. He's not looking in great shape, but it's good for the old guy. He's got to have some surgery, fix those knees up, and he'll be back, hopefully, not being on Raw or SmackDown week after week. And, folks, it is Io Shirai. Yeah,
yeah, that was not much better. Are you on Wikipedia looking at how to break down the name?
People are asking this exact same question, folks, so I'm not the only one.
Okay.
Watch her be my favorite wrestler, and I'll be like, Asuka.
Of course she is. Of course she is. You'll be salty about her in 6 to 8 months. Madison Square Garden saw a pretty big show. We had Ronda Rousey, we had Undertaker having matches.
Yeah, that was surprising to see, Ronda Rousey in Madison Square Garden. I guess it's kind of on her bucket list, and it's kind of cool to got to see her fight. Technically, it's not on Raw, so they can get away with it. And, cool, great. And Undertaker, too. He wrestled a solid match, too. I think he tags with Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, if I'm correct.
With Roman Reigns?
Yeah, I think the three of them were tagging together.
Honestly, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and Undertaker. what? Anyways, there's not much to say about that. I guess I'm salty this week. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. Like, tag team matches already pissed me off in the WWE, but that is just like next level garbage.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's kind of interesting to think the big feud that Roman Reigns and Braun had, and also like Roman Reigns and, well, I guess you could play a whole like Undertaker has respect for Roman Reigns, I guess, but Braun Strowman wanted to kill Roman Reigns, and now they're buddies.
He wasn't finished with him.
Yeah, that was the best thing. I'm not finished with you. It's in our opening theme song.
I say that to both my kids every day, right after breakfast, when I have to take a paper towel and clean their face. I walk up to them and I look at them and I go, I'm not finished with you.
And then your wife calls you a loser.
No, my wife's also a WWE fan, so whatever. Takahashi, neck injury, G1. G1 was awesome, by the way.
I haven't watched it yet completely, so don't. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I've been spoiled enough, but at the same time, I'm super excited to finish watching it. And yes, that injury was no joke. Really, really, really gross. Apparently, he did finish the match. He went backstage, collapsed, brought to the hospital, and there's kind of a lot of question marks around what's going on with him, his injury, his recovery. I know he's flying back to Japan now to get treated properly, and he must have some kind of, I guess, fracture or break to his neck. Wish him the best recovery. It's a serious injury. I think Sean Waltman, X-Pac, had 2 broken necks during his career. He came back and had a really good run. So we hope for the same thing in this scenario and a speedy recovery.
Yeah, then he made a porno. So, being as Raw and SmackDown were the go-home shows, let's do our own little go-home show. But let's put a spin on it. I know you haven't been salty, so it's time to get salty, Des.
Do I have to?
Oh, you have to.
I've been on good behavior tonight.
Yeah, you've been on good behavior, but all good things must come to an end. So, out of everything that's going on in the WWE right now, what do you want? Who do you want to say, just go home, man? Just get out of here. Stop. Putting you on the spot here.
Do you need to ask?
Well, no, we can't talk about... We can't talk about him.
Well, then we're not going to have a segment here.
Well, we're not going to talk about him because he's fucking banned. But, I mean, I can guess...
The who should not be named and who lost this week.
Let's not talk about him any more than we have to. I can take a guess that you probably want to see James Ellsworth the hell out of here, right?
I don't hate James Ellsworth. His awkwardness is kind of funny. I guess the way he talks and walks. Yeah, the wink. The way he did his thing in the ring, like when he went out for the lumberjack. They stopped calling it a lumberjill match, I noticed. But the lumberjack match, he basically would say like these. It's almost like, okay, James, when you go out there, we want you to say these 3 things. And he picks up the mic, he's like, blah, 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 bah. Bah, bah, bah. And it's just kind of like wink, yeah. But he's funny. I like him. He's a nice guy too, and he's living the dream, and he's having a good time. So I really don't mind. I'm just obviously a bit salty that he was involved in Asuka's loss against Carmella, but he was also involved in the women's Money in the Bank match the year before, ruining that as well. So it's almost become James Ellsworth's stigma, I guess, to some extent. If I did have to tell somebody to go home, though, on the entire roster, I think I would say, Mojo Rawley.
Oh, God.
Go home.
Jesus. Get out of here, bro. Mojo Rawley is like... There was a brief moment, though. I don't remember where it was in the timeline. I think it was right when Zack... I don't even remember. What's the rest of his name?
Ryder.
Zack Ryder.
He was out there breaking up Lashley and Roman Reigns. Come on.
Oh, God. No, but when Zack Ryder came back, there was a brief moment where I thought Mojo might have something, but just his gear and his entrance is enough to just make me say, get the fuck out of my TV and go home, bro.
He tries too hard to be different or to do these things that just do not work, and he doesn't do it for me.
Jinder Mahal, or as you like to say, I mean, I'll let Jinder Mahal way.
Did you get that when I wrote that?
Yeah, that was freaking... That should have been a tweet, bro.
I didn't think anybody would get it.
It's so good, man. It's so good.
Jinder Mahal. He's always out in the hallway. And now he's happy and he's Shanti. And he's found enlightenment, and I feel bad for the guy because he went from being a champion and a long-running champion. They really took a chance with this guy and make an experiment, and now he's backstage doing these ridiculously dull segments.
So here's the issue I have, right? We had Mahal versus Roman Reigns, and I said that they should have done a double turn. And here they are a few weeks later, and Mahal is pretty much a face now.
I don't know what he is. I just think they don't really know what he can do. I guess he's having lots of matches on tour, on house shows. And then when it comes to the main roster and TV, they're not sure really what to do with him. I mean, you saw his involvement was with Seth Rollins this week, which made no sense because Seth Rollins has an angle. So he's just kind of putting him there just to put him there. There was nothing for Jinder Mahal, and there's nothing for Jinder Mahal right now.
Jinder who?
Jinder Mahal.
Jinder
Shanti.
I like him. Honestly, man,
Yeah,
his
it's all
stock
right.
was rising.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's entertaining.
It's good.
But let's maybe we'll find something for him to do.
Well, I guess that wraps up another episode of Talkamania. But don't fret. We have another episode this week. We have a prediction show for Extreme Rules. It's going to be freaking dope. But yeah, follow us on Twitter @_Talkamania. Buy some merch. www.prowrestlingtees.com/Talkamania. Buy a t-shirt if you are a content creator. You have a blog, a podcast. You want to promote your band. I don't care. I don't care what it is. You'll get 3 weeks promo on the show.
We said 4 weeks now. It's 4 weeks this
shit.
week.
Des is right. 4 weeks. And if we like you, you get more. Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Google Music Play. We're freaking everywhere, man. Check us out. Stay tuned for us on Sunday. We're going to be periscoping the hell out of your phone. We're going to be annoying you. Stay tuned. We're coming back with a prediction show for Extreme Rules. Till then, J-Bomb's out. Say bye, Des.
Iyo Shirai.
Drink, bitch.
Suckers walk.